Okay, seatbelt time. Those of you who are familiar with my videos, you know that when I say that, that means it's going to be some harsh, unvarnished facts, not opinion, facts, something that is very rare these days that I need to drop on you. There seems to be an epidemic of these novice people, and I mean novice in the true sense of the word, who profess, oh, living in Italy or living in Portugal or living in Thailand or living in Brazil is the best place in the world, and I'm moving from USA or Canada to these countries. Listen, we do not need to take advice from a homeless person on how to buy real estate. And even less, we do not need advice from a backpacker who saved money for 6 months to go to Italy and then experiences on the very, very surface only the best that any country that has to offer, and then says to herself in her own small mind, I want to live here. Everything is so nice. People are so polite. You know, the cappuccinos taste better. So I think I'm going to leave my home in the United States and live there. Listen, as someone who's traveled to 151 countries and not just been there as a tourist, for example, Italy, I've seen it from the Swiss border where the country starts all the way to Sicily. The breadth and length of that country, I know it all. Besides that, I know people that are Italians, native Italians, born and raised there, and I know people who are expats who are living there. And believe me, no country, and I mean no country, is all roses, okay? Everywhere you go, and this is what I've learned by traveling to 151 countries and continuing to do so as I'm recording this video for you. No matter where you live on the face of this planet, some things are better where you are and some things are better over there, okay? Now, you choose where to live based on what things are important to you, period. I don't want to hear one more backpacker or some idiot so-called digital nomad saying, oh, I'm living here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. It's the best place in the world. Listen, everywhere has its pluses and minuses. I don't want to hear one more person saying healthcare is great in Europe. It is not. It is not. I have an Italian friend living in Modena, Italy, and he had an accident overseas and broke a bone in his face. And if you know anything about orthopedics, you know that bones start to heal in about 6 weeks. That means they fuse back together. So I told him, hey, you know, what's the problem? Just go and get a CT scan or an MRI and to see, you know, what bones are broken or if they're broken or not. He says, you're dreaming. First of all, I went to the doctor and he said, I can give you some ibuprofen and aspirin. And he says, I have basic health insurance by the government. We do not do CT scans and those things unless you pay for it out of pocket. And even if they do, it takes 6 to 7 weeks to get an appointment. And by the time that appointment for CT scan comes, his bone has already formed and fused back together. And I had a girlfriend from Canada who said the same thing about an ear infection she had. She said by the time they gave me an ear infection in Canada to go and have it treated, my ear infection had already gotten much worse. So I paid out of pocket to have it fixed in the US. I know health minister of Canada flew to Florida for a surgery. But is it true that some things are better over there in Italy, in France, in Portugal? Of course there are. Of course there are. Is it true that a lot of people that go there only experience it on a very surface level and actually don't realize that working there and earning money there is far more difficult than working in a free enterprise like US? As much as Democrats and liberals are trying to destroy it, still you can earn money much more easily in US than you can overseas. For example, somebody can come from Vietnam into America and open a bicycle shop 2 days later, but you cannot do that in Germany. You need to take an apprenticeship school on everything about bicycles, and only when you got your license and gone through plethora of red tape can you open any kind of a shop. European socialist system actually actively discourages entrepreneurship and having your own business. So The point of this video is, again, I have another video on this subject. Take everything you hear on the internet, not with a grain of salt, but with 2 pound, 50-pound bags of salt. Because 95 to 98% of what you hear is inaccurate, incomplete, and stemming from little knowledge. And the old saying, little knowledge is very dangerous, applies. Now you can ignore what I've said in this video from beginning to end, or you can raise your antenna and be careful next time someone says, oh, I moved from the USA to Portugal and everything is great, fantastic, and home is cheaper, food is cheaper, this is great, I'm gonna go sell my apartment and my futon bed, I'm gonna move to Porto, Portugal. No, I'm afraid it's not that easy. First of all, if you haven't traveled to at least 50 countries, you have, at 50, that's 50, you have no right to say one is better than the other because you haven't had enough sampling. That's like tasting one food in your life and saying this is the best food you ever tasted. And secondly, unless you've actually lived there, earned money and became familiar with all the laws and the pitfalls and the ups and downs of a certain country, you cannot assess whether or not it's good to live there or not. Please, please, take everything with a 250-pound bag of salt, and don't take advice from a homeless person on how to buy real estate. Sorry, but facts are facts. All the best.